believe that this magnificent 49 Market Spectrum sherbet line is just waiting to be unleashed from your unused scrapbook stash. Like, look at how gorgeous this is. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming tutorials. I've got plenty of fantastic projects in store for you. Let's unravel the secret behind this mesmerizing album cover that we're about to make. So step one is to dig deep into the scrapbook stash and rediscover the untapped beauty of the Spectrum Sherbet collection. Dust off those forgotten papers and prepare to be amazed as we breathe new life into these hidden gems. So grab the perfect sheets for the front cover, back cover, and spine. Trust me, it's a feast for your eyes. So make sure that they coordinate. In this case, I'm using this paper for my front and back, and then this paper for my spine. You want to leave your spine to have as little going on with it as possible, so these foundations papers are perfect for that. Step two is to cut these. So we're going to cut them into 6 by 12, and precision is key. So here are the two pieces of chipboard that I'm going to go ahead and use. This piece is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to use it for the back of my album, while this paper is a little bit thinner, and it's going to be the front and spine. So this is 49 Market paper. This is extra thin. You don't need super thick cardstock or chipboard because this paper is going to be so stinking thick on top of the chipboard that you already have. So step three, we need to measure and cut the chipboard. Remember, we want to make sure that there's a 1/4 inch wider on two sides of the notebook. So I'm going to measure this and make sure that it's a 1/4 inch bigger on two sides. So because I have these things, I'm going to measure from the tallest one to my outside spine, and then I'm going to go a 1/4 inch. So really this is looking about 7 inches. So it's going to be 7 inches by 8 1/4. So that's almost 8 1/2. But we notice that this is 8 1/2 and it's too big. We don't want the extra bulk here. So I'm going to go 7. Let's just double check again. Yep, 7 by 8 1/4 for my covers, and then 8 1/4 tall and 3/4 of an inch high on my spine. So we've cut our album covers and spine to the appropriate height and length. So this is what it's going to look like. We're going to end up gluing our notebook inside of the album color, and then we have our outside top, and then we have our spine, making sure that when we look at this, the spine is going to end up kind of looking like this, and we need to make sure that there is enough room for the coils to open our notebook on. And this is the perfect height, which ends up being 3/4 of an inch for my 1/2 inch coils. So really you need a 1/4 inch more on your coils as well. Now I do have a little bit of extra paper here, and that's because I glued 2 pieces of chipboard together to make one cover. And so I don't have fear of this bending at all. One, because I've reinforced it with some just paper, which is perfect, and the 49 Market is going to keep it really sturdy for me. Step 4, we're going to position our covers on here and go ahead and fold, pre-fold, and maybe even some scoring. And what I mean by that, we're just going to kind of test run what the plan is. So I know I want these pieces, these floral pieces, to be to the left and have an open spot here to put my title. Or I could go like this, but notice I lose some of that. And I think I am going to go ahead and do it this way. When we put our covers on here, notice that there's a whole chunk missing here. we're going to end up covering that with the spine. So I am not worried about it. However, I am strategically placing this under the bigger piece. So this is a solid piece of paper instead of having the spine. So I'm going to just kind of plan. Notice butterfly is going to be upside down. I want to make sure I've got what I want in the image on both papers. I do need some room here to fold this over. That's important in your bookmaking, making sure you have room to fold it over. So that will look good. I'll get both butterflies on there, and then I'll get a majority of this flower down here, and I'll have a nice thing there. So let's score our papers. Now we need to score them because this is 49 market paper, which is thick, and I'm going to keep reminding you, hey, score your paper, score your paper. First score is super easy. We're going to take our scoring tool, wherever that is, and we're going to go 3/4 of an inch in and score. Now I'm scoring on the nice side because I notice that I want to break the paper that way. Okay, so this part is going to be the fold on the outside. Now we're going to do the fold for the flower, so I can strategically place this so that I get the perfect spot for folding. Take the 1/16 of an inch just a little bit out. There we go. Okay, I'm going to fold this down towards my cover first because the breaking is going to happen on this outside edge, and I do not want that to appear on my cover. So score and fold. You're going to do the same exact thing for your back cover. And then on your spine, you're only going to score the height. So here, and that's it. Step is going to be determining the center of our spine. So I'm going to place my spine in the middle here, and I am going to just draw. You're not going to be able to see this on the outside. I'm going to draw a spot here so that when I go and adhere this, I can just add my spine here and worry about placement later. Step 5, we need to cut the corners at an angle to eliminate excess paper when folding the edges over the chipboard. Say goodbye to those unsightly bulges. So grab your scissors and you're going to cut just outside of this corner. Just like that. And we're going to go diagonally. So typically I don't even cut the score mark. Sometimes if you go too close, you're going to run into issues. So you don't want to cut too close. And we're just going at a kind of 45-degree angle. So I can get rid of these corners now. I don't need them. And I won't use them in my album because they're too small for a pocket. Step 6 is to grab your favorite glue and start adhering the paper to the chipboard. This is where the real transformation begins, and can't you just feel the excitement? Oh my gosh, I'm too excited right now. Go ahead and fold all this in, and I'm going to start with this part. Now I don't want to adhere over my fold lines because those fold lines are going to be important as the time comes. So this is what this is going to end up looking like by the time I'm done. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I'm going to go ahead and just leave those up like that. It's going to be a great guide for me when I go ahead and adhere everything down. Ooh, this is going to be so exciting. I'll show you this one and then we'll fast forward through the next one. And then we'll come back for the spine. So make sure you come back for that part because that is where you can really mess up. You have to be really careful about your spine. I'm going to use my bone folder in my hands to rub this glue out. Or just my hands because I can't find my bone folder. So I'm going to use my hands to rub this glue out, make sure it's really nicely adhered. We don't want this cover going anywhere. We're going to start by adhering the outside because it makes a cleaner cut. It looks cleaner when you have the smaller piece down first and the larger piece overlapping. We're going to go all the way to the edge with the glue and then go in the middle a little bit. And you're going to kind of pull this paper so that it makes a nice rounded edge. And then we're just going to use our fingers to varnish it, or your bone folder, whatever you want. See how that makes a nice clean edge? And that's because we scored that piece. Okay, we cut the excess off, but there's still just a little bit, so you can use your fingernail or whatever you have to push that down so it makes a nice clean quarter when we go to adhere. I don't recommend putting the glue on all 3 flaps. You want to do 1 flap at a time, so you give attention to that flap. And you're just going to push and pull, making sure that that is all nicely adhered. See how that corner looks beautiful now? Because I cut away that excess. Push and pull, push and pull. We get a cute little butterfly here, but he's upside down, unfortunately. And don't worry about this. We are going to be able to cover this later. So that is my front cover. Isn't that just so cute? Now we are going to cover this up with a pink, so don't worry about this part yet. So you have your 2 covers adhered and glued down and looking beautiful. Now we need to do the spine, which is the trickiest part, right? So I feel like I did this backwards on accident. I totally did this upside down. So make sure you pay attention to your orientation. Oh well. It is what it is. So make sure to pay attention to your orientation. But we're going to go ahead and glue the spine in. Now, we made sure to measure where this is going to be. So super simple. Make sure you can fold both of these edges. And then we're going to glue it down. Just like that. Cool. Now for the important part. In order for a book to bend, it needs to have a little bit of clearance. You do not want to do 1/16 of an inch. You don't even want to do 1/8 of an inch. You want to do like 1/4 of an inch thickness. And in fact, because this is 39 market, I'm wondering if we need to do 3/16 of an inch. No, I think 1/4 of an inch should be fine. So what's going to happen is you need to make sure that you can bend your spine without any clearance issues. I'm going to go ahead and do 1/4 of an inch. Simply because I want to make sure I have enough clearance. Now I'm using the We Are layer guides to help me get the perfect clearance, right? And I am going to glue on my front and back covers. Now I totally did them upside down. Nobody's gonna look at the back. I'll make sure that they're always looking at the front. I'll make the front super obvious that it's the front with the decorations and not worry that I glued the back upside down. You know, that's what happens when you're in a rush to get a project done and you just want it done. And that is definitely one of these projects. Even though I'm excited to have this book made and it will decorate it together next time. This is also the second cover I've made for it because the first one didn't work out because I didn't leave enough clearance. So learn from my mistakes and make sure that you have a 1/4 inch clearance here. This is 49 in market paper. It needs that extra little give. Especially when we're going to add extra paper on the inside to cover up our little messes here. Gonna go ahead and push this all down, varnish it, and make sure it's nice and pretty. Isn't this just coming together so nicely? Yay! So you can see you need the extra clearance to be able to fold your book. Okay, next part is to adhere the flaps. Now the flaps are a little tricky because you need to work quickly. So you're gonna get the outside edge, get the inside, grab your bone folder or what have you. And you know what, I need to find my bone folder. And we're going to press this in. So we need to use something to press this down so that we have an easier job of being able to actually fold our books. And that's where I wanted my bone folder. I don't know where I put it. Whatever you have that's long and skinny, this is actually for my trimmer, just press that in really nicely. And then you're going to get a nice crisp edge here. So we're again working quickly. Going to use all the resources I have to press that in and make it super great at it here. I'm even adding glue into that part right there. So press it down and then use my scissors. That's pretty good. And then use my whatever I got available to press in. So then we can test it and look at how pretty that fold is. And we can verify, this is the perfect spot to verify that our book will hold our spiral. Isn't that pretty? Yay! Woohoo! Okay, now we need to cover this part. So in this case, I'm just going to use an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Step 7, measure and cut an inside piece of paper that extends the majority of the length of the inside cover. And it's all about attention to detail. So in this case, I am going to go ahead and use a white insert, white piece of paper just like this, and it is a 25-pound piece of cardstock. Like, it's really not that big. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down so we remember our cover is 8 1/4, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this to 8 instead to give us a little bit of a border. And that border is going to look really nice to cover up those edges. Just like that. Isn't that cute? And then we'll go from there. I have a little bit of a black mark. I'm just going to flip this over. Not a big deal. And I'm going to adhere this. So we're actually going to, well, hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my glue right here. Add glue here. And then in the middle. So we can press our page into this crease. Press the page real quick. Gonna add some glue on the inside. And going to add some glue on the outside. So there's that press. Then press this down. And then press this again. And then press this down. So it looks like that. Now, I don't need to cover the rest of this because we're going to glue that right there. And when you open the notebook, you're still not going to be able to tell that there's anything wrong there. It's perfect. We're going to glue it like right there. Right there. Okay, let's do the bend test. See, there's a little bit of funkiness going on because of these folds here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some glue. Adding glue is always the key, right? Add glue, add glue. And there we go. That is our cover. Super cute. So last step is to glue our insert into our album, making sure that there's enough clearance for our tabs and then also for the spine. Just like that. And then you'll have a beautiful album. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And next time, we will go ahead and decorate the inside and plan photos.